Hey guys, let's talk about some science again today. Still talking about cells, especially the different cell parts. And again today, unlike yesterday where we talked about how plants and animals are similar compared, today we're really going to focus on the differences between plants and animals. Specifically plant and animal cells is what I should say. Again, I know there are a lot of big words thrown at you yesterday. With cells, it's such a cool thing to study in my opinion. A lot of big scientific words. That's why we're trying to take it really nice and slowly here. But don't hesitate to ask questions. And hey, what's cool about this setup is you can always go back to yesterday's slide and teaching video and review it. It's always going to be there for you. So don't hesitate to do that. I know it's going to take a little bit of time, but for the sake of learning, it's well worth it. Hey, this we've looked at the last 3 days. A drawing of an animal, or again, that's also a human cell. And plant cells. A lot in the middle that is the same. Today we're really going to focus on this section here that's different or contrasted. This is what we used to compare and contrast. Just a little bit of review. We're going to talk about starting the same here. We talked about the nucleus and cell membrane. The nucleus kind of has all the different blueprints of each cell. It tells it when to do this and that and things like that. The cell membrane, remember, that was kind of the outer covering. But really going to focus on these sections here. The differences. I don't know where my cursor is. There it is. How plant cells make their own food and animal cells don't. Which means there must be some differences in the cells that God made. And the big thing here is another big C word. That's called chloroplasts. We're going to talk about that today, focusing on the differences here. Here's the main one. You guys, again, much like we talked about yesterday, you know that humans have to go get their food. We got to literally walk to the fridge or prepare it or hunt for our food. And animals do the same thing, right? You've probably seen your cat stalk to catch something or seen a bird swoop down to grab a meal. Well, plants can't. They don't move. They're actually made so they're rooted into the ground. So how in the world do they go get food? You don't have to stand behind a plant at the grocery store waiting for them to buy their own food. They can't. They make their own food. That's a major, major difference. And so even though they're the same with plants and animals because they're both living things, we're going to focus on the differences today. So, plant cells and animal cells are the same in a lot of ways that we covered yesterday, but plant cells, God made so they have some extra things that our cells do not have. Let's talk about those. Again, focusing on this section over here. This is some pictures of plant cells. I'm sorry those words are blurry and hard to see, but I'll explain it here. Now we talked about the cell membrane yesterday. Both plant cells and animal cells have that. That's kind of like the castle, how that protects things, lets things in, lets things out, and kind of holds it all in together. Well, again, think of how God made plants and animals different. Animals have defense mechanisms. They might have sharp teeth. They might have sharp claws. They might be able to jump really high or run really fast to avoid different danger. Plants can't. And so God built into their cells extra protection in all their cells, and that's something that's called a cell wall. Now that's on the outside of a cell membrane, and it just helps plants, give them extra structure, extra protection. That's really why a lot of times, different plants can stand straight up. They have that extra cell wall in their cells that we don't have. The biggie that is a difference are chloroplasts. Now, if you notice, whenever we show different plant cells, they're usually colored green. That's because of the chloroplasts. That's why plant cells look green. Now, remember what we talked about originally. Plants can't go hunt for food. They can't go walking around and buy food at the grocery store. So God made them with chloroplasts so they can make their own food. Now, they need to have different ingredients. They need to have air, which for plant, the good air is carbon dioxide. That's actually what we breathe out, our waste that we breathe out. We breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide. God in His infinite wisdom made plants different. Plants breathe in carbon dioxide, that's a good air for them, and they breathe out oxygen. Noticing that wonderful air cycle that we have? As long as we have plants around, we're never, ever, ever going to run out of oxygen because we give them our carbon dioxide. You're welcome, plants. And they give us oxygen. Thank you, plants. It's a perfect, wonderful air cycle that God made. But again, let's get back to the food, huh? The chloroplasts use the energy. Plants need the same three things we need: air, water, and food. Well, without air and water, you guys know plants die, but they also need food, and that's what the chloroplasts in every single plant cell, that's how they make their own food. And I don't want you to miss this here. They use the sun's energy. A little bit later, we're going to talk more about this process, but I mean, it's called photosynthesis. It's really a cool thing how God designed this and God made this, but none of us have chloroplasts. You guys know on a nice sunny day, plants have air and plants have water. They're making their own food. None of us can go outside and just stand in the sun and get full. We can't. We don't have chloroplasts. That's how God designed them to be different. Now, here is your assignment. This is what the top looks like, and I want you to focus on what I need you to do. I'll show you another picture later that shows both cells and the drawings of cells. I need you to add a title for each one. One of these is a plant cell, one of these is an animal cell. And then you notice these lines pointing to a different part. Please use all these words up here and put them next to the lines to show me that you've labeled them correctly. That picture that we've shown the last 3 days of a plant animal cell, that's really going to help you with this assignment. But I want you to understand what they have in common, plant animal cells, and also how they're different. I'm going to try something real quickly here. I'm going to try to get to the assignment this way because I want to show you what you could do on your I'm sorry. Here we go. Get off there, blue box. What you can do on your flash drive for your tablet, you can actually take these things here and you can drag them right there on the line. Now, you don't have to. If you want to use a paper packet, you can just write it in. But I'll give you a little hint here. This top one, this is the animal cell here. So I'm going to put that right there so we know that that's the animal cell. But you can do that. That's why I put in all these weird words that are kind of floating up here. That's the reason. So let's get back here. I'll show you this again. If you just bear with me for just a second. There we go. So that's your assignment. And again, here's what the bottom of it looks like. But hey, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Please remember, again, some words will be used once, some words will be used twice because plant and animal cells do have things in common. But let me know if you have questions. Hey, guys, Lord's blessings to you. We'll continue with science tomorrow.